SDK.
Yeah.
My eyes have got to be on SDK. It's yesterday was probably the best we've seen them perform in a long time, to be fair. And you know, I mean, what can you say? 5-game series. Well, 5 games yesterday, which was 5-game series, but 5 games yesterday. 4 of them placed inside the top 5. 3 of them with over 10 kills. Like it just, they played phenomenally yesterday. And the scary thing is I still consider them a Miramar team. So the fact that we're starting today on Miramar is kind of terrifying, because it's going to be difficult for, I mean, Oath yesterday, again, not to rub salt in the wound, but back-to-back 0-point games on Miramar, that can't bode well for your team morale coming into today if you want to, if you're in a position where you're chasing.
True. And like you said, I mean, SDK had such a great day yesterday. I mean, 76 points in one day. I mean, what do you say about that? And as you mentioned, this is them being a Miramar team. But you know, you look back to 2 days ago when when I was I guess the last time I was casting Miramar, we had the first 3 games on Miramar. That was SGK's worst day, right? 27 points overall, and that was the day that Oath popped off. So there's so many different things you could look at, really, as far as like trend. What's going on here?
What the?
Team Clueless. They're going to be trading back and forth. Okay, Hella. He's going to find him. As he said, when a man with a 45 meets a man with a rifle, the man with the 45 is dead. And Fabled. Hella says, you know what? If a woman 55 meets anybody, the man is dead. There you go. Easy. I'm trying to shoehorn in as many old Western quotes as I can. That one.
Weirdly enough, though, that was one falling from Team Clueless, right? And then Team Clueless were getting a kill on an illusion player elsewhere. Now we have Greg Shot with a pump action, and Innate's pulling up on him with a Marauder. Oh my god, run him over!
Oh,
oh my god! Oh, he tagged him! What is going on? It's game 6 scrims.
Know.
Game 6 scrims in game 1 today. He hit him again!
I mean, what is it with Fabled and shotguns in the early game? I mean, last time we saw Evasion do a jumping double pump on the Honey Badger. This time,
that was
Greg Shot going to take a few shots.
Come on, bro.
Was it Lush? Oh, I'm
yes. Come on.
That was weeks ago. Literally, nobody would have remembered that.
It was 2 days ago.
Yeah. What's here or there? Look at Alo.
Now Alo's pulling up.
Look at Alo running into rocks. Okay, like don't even think about me.
Okay, do you think he heard the? He heard the shotgun shots.
He absolutely heard the shots, didn't he? I mean, he did just roll up on this. I'm not sure where he was coming from, but I'm trying to look on my map feed here. This is all on the very far northern edge of what could be considered SDK loot territory. This is just kind of north of water treatment. So if Alo did hear this, man, he's got his boosters on the ears. That's Greg Shot just going to go ahead and hoof it on out of here. The rest of his team off to the west, really. So he may be in trouble. He's only got the shotgun.
He picked up a Tommy gun, I think, but I mean, he's got himself some level 2 gear and a couple of first aid kits. I'm not sure why it displays a dash actually when he's
yeah, that's obnoxious.
He's got it unequipped, and now Top Dog's gonna knock himself to falling.
Okay,
this is an interesting start to game 1 so far. This is I don't know if we can call it high octane, but there's definitely a lot going on.
Well, yeah. Look, hey, you know what? We haven't even gotten a chance really to mention the Circle, which has gone hard to the north, north central, really, kind of centering up over water treatment, or maybe just north of water treatment. The rest of Fabled actually finding themselves a nice little compound. Keenan getting knocked down to below half here. That's some long range shots there from Sonics. It's going to give the rest of Wildcard a little information. Oh, okay.
Dude,
I like it,
Profi actually just pulled up like right next to the other 3 members of Wildcard to take those shots, and then was like, nope.
I guess, look, you know, as much as we've talked about Profi over the years being the press W, you know, he's had a tendency, he's had a history of maybe being a little bit separated from the rest of the squad. But I feel like he's gotten a lot better, at least in this tournament, really, this series, of kind of realizing when he's in a bad position. If he takes shots and he finds himself by himself, he doesn't really stick around. You don't really see them go down like that early as much as we used to. I mean, for God's sake, we saw Profi was in the top 5 of times survived yesterday.
Yeah, and I think actually, what he's getting better at is kind of maximizing points when he's in those bad positions, as opposed to it used to be dying for free, picking up 1 or 2 kill points along the way now. He's getting better at that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to serve that kind of anchor, the solo away from everybody else position, you got to ask yourself the question, okay, what am I trying to get out of this? What am I wanting to do with this? And whereas before, I think his answer was maybe just to like take a few shots at whoever he could see. Now it's more like, okay, I'm gaining information, feeding that over to the team, and then just going to go back and rejoin the rest of everybody. So good stuff so far. I'm liking this Profi 2.0 we've started to see here in 2020. Meanwhile, Team Clueless going to pull into the northern part of water treatment. You can see Zenith also on rotation. Zenith, worst day that they've had was yesterday. Pretty much every other team that has had their worst day, the next day they come in, they have their best day. So what does that say about Zenith?
I mean, there was a couple of weird scenarios. We saw Kickstar kind of, I wouldn't say snaking for placement, as we see Vegas get blown up in transition by Dodge. I'm guessing he was just driving in the open to 3 Dodge members, but can't really be avoided. The Murado, not really the strongest of vehicles. But Dodge up at this is where we saw Dodge wipe out Livid yesterday, was it not, at this compound? It might be a different one. I can't actually remember which one it was. It was one of the ones at the hilltop, just near the crossroads. But Dodge, another team that I expected us to be talking more about them this weekend, and they've not done terribly, but they definitely have underperformed to my expectations. Considering how, I guess on a macro level, how strong they were throughout the qualifiers. They didn't seem to miss a beat. They were always in a circle, always, circles 4 and 5 in a position to get kills if they didn't have center compound. We're just not really seen that Dodge this weekend. And whether or not that's, the lobby's got a bit harder and they've got other obstacles, but it's been a surprise for me nonetheless.
Here's the thing about Dodge, right? They just doo-dooed the bed on day number 2. 13 points. If they would have averaged around the what they've been doing every other time, 32 points on day 1, 49 points yesterday, they're most likely up there around 2nd, 3rd, 4th, fighting for first place here and within reasonable reach. But the fact that they had that one really, really bad day on day 2 with 13 points, now they find themselves kind of on the outside needing basically just a miracle to get in here if they want to try to make a run for first. It's possible. For sure it's possible. Like we said, we saw Oath with 63 points on one day. STK was 76 yesterday. So we definitely know it's a thing that can happen. But to see if Dodge can pull it off here today. As our new circle pops, we're going to go dead center.
Yeah, that's, the furthest this pulls away from Oasis on the north, the better for me. It's always rough having to see teams kind of transition north of the road. And again, Oasis isn't the greatest of spots to share between 5 or 6 teams if they do get forced up there. But it's weird me saying that actually, because I'm usually the advocate of the worse the circle, the better it is to watch. But Wildcard, meanwhile, again a team yesterday for me that ended yesterday kind of the same as I expected them to perform the whole time through. And actually, it's interesting to see the stats up on the screen there. Just, again, not to single out Sharpshot, but Sharpshot being actually on a positive KD for the event is actually surprising. In the top 15, actually. But they've just been underwhelming. We've not seen them... Not seen them active. We haven't seen them in team fights, and when we have, this isn't even a team fight, and Sharpshot's getting knocked on the roof. And
I was gonna say that's what happens when you call his name out.
Yeah,
that's a good shot. Good shot for 303. There.
Yeah, good shots, but it's just been disappointing for me.
Fair enough, for sure. Wild card.
That's mainly based on Penta being like the standout performer, right? He was playing absolutely insane in the qualifiers. I mean, he was tied for top kills, right? In round 2 of the
week
qualifiers,
1,
was it?
I think it was right. I think it was the first round. He was going back and forth. It was him and I believe Roth and Luke.
Yeah,
were all kind of like vying for the top kills, and they were just miles ahead of everybody. Fortunately, that didn't look like it translated over too well. So we check in on the hard shifts, where they are going all the way around Oasis on this northwestern side. Reno may be the only one that even has any idea that they're up there, because there's nobody to the north. Last time, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is the part that, I mean, it's so rough to see teams have to traverse this terrain, and actually there's a couple of teams opting to kind of wrap north. You can see Reno's position, but all of that space to the north and all of it to the east, kind of on the north side of the roads I was talking about, just above the crossroads, it's so rough to rotate in vehicles. Hoping that, and again, I don't like a water treatment circle myself, but I'm hoping this kind of pulls over to the west side of the current white circle we see.
It'll be interesting if it does. I will say last time, actually the last game that I cast with Godspeed, this was pretty much the exact same circle we saw, and then it just hard cut south about 3 times in a row, and that was one of Fabled's wins, where you just look at it, you're just like, okay, all right, Fable gets 2 wins, and that's 20 of their 21 overall placement points. So. And you know, we were talking. Okay, yeah, I know. But look, hey, we were talking about wild cards going into today, and everybody had a team. I wrote on my sheet the entire bottom 8 is my wild card, and there you go. You see the circle wheel cut a little bit to the south, not full on water treatment, but a little bit more to the west. But just for the fact, look, our bottom 8 right now has 5 chicken dinners out of 15. And when you've got so many teams up at the top here fighting for a limited amount of points, if these bottom 8 teams come through, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, and again, this is just to come back to the point I was making yesterday about Sonics, and it's great to see them where they're at without a win, but you can't help but think that, and again, the expectation for me is that by now Sonics would have had 2 wins. I think they've had 5 second places, Poro. So, and again, even so, if you convert those second places into first, it's only a difference of 4 points, right? So you're talking about an 8-point swing, maybe a couple of extra kills, 2 or 3, depends on how many they're up against in the late game. But it's disappointing. It's disappointing. I had really high expectations for Sonics, based on obviously events in the last couple of weeks and how they've been performing in scrims and the way they talk about themselves.
Look, confidence has never been something that the Sonics team has been accused of lacking. And Uncivil will retreat here a little bit after getting a few shots sent to the body there. You can see his vest down to about half. Only a level 1 helmet, so he's going to have to be careful about how much he wants to peek that. Meanwhile, everybody just starting to make their way in. Shoot to kill. On the eastern part of this circle, they do have Elusive that are going to have to make their way in from this northeastern spot, but there are, I think that's Hardships trying to make their way in, and they are under some heavy fire here from Zenith. You can see. Oh, yeah, looks like Luke has managed to spot out the rest of Elusive. Not sure.
But does he know about Fizzle, though? Fizzle's kind of creeping up on this terrain. I guess he's calling innate up. You can see Fizzle playing off the audio cue here, and actually, Luke might have just spotted him there. He did.
Ooh. Yeah, he did. Ooh.
That's
Good
lucky.
eyes.
I think Fizzle was actually calling innate up, saying, "Look, bait up here, try and get an overpeak from this guy on the roof." And actually, great awareness from Luke there to not fully commit to shooting the bike, but now actually it's going to be Zenith opening up onto Elusive as they try and find a little foothold in the hills just next to STK.
Yeah, the northeast here has gotten very, very dicey here with Elusive, Zenith, Shoot to Kill, and Hardships all trading shots back and forth, all 4 strong here. And it's really just a question of where the opening down is going to come from and if it's going to result in a push. This could be a nice grenade coming out from Kickstart if that bounces right. Yeah, it will. J all day goes down. Okay, now if you're Zenith, what do you do? Is this the opening sign to push? Doesn't look like it's going to be. just yet. Actually, yeah, they're gonna hold position. Maybe just continue wrapping around the north. Now that they've seen that new circle, they've got bigger concerns.
Yeah, and as I said, I was sort of expecting this one to pull west away from all this terrain. Now it causes a lot of problems. Jay's actually going to get re-knocked to the blue there, so that's going to be problematic. Hardshift's actually a really good position to try and hold and get some of these kill points, because he fabled from distance will get Roth down. Kurt already sending it in the Bronco. Luke's going to follow not far behind. Now, I'm not sure what options STK really have by committing up to the high ground. What have we got going on here? Actually, Wildcard and Comets going after the compound.
Full on crash here. This is outside of circle. You can see on your mini-map, they have to make their way in just a little bit farther to the east. Here comes Comets with the throwables. The Molotov's going to fall right on top of him. Penta will go down. Wow, Sharp Shot will get taken down by D-Treats. This is clean coming out for Comets so far, but Keaton will find another. And now it's 1v1, I think. Yes, Wild Card goes down to Mime, actually, as Yaxley has a little bit of the pressure removed from himself there for a little bit. Comets should be able to get Victor up, but I don't know, man. This is going to be really hard to get into this next circle.
Yeah, and this is, we talked about it, well, I mean, I mentioned this yesterday, as the compound always gets fed, so it's no wonder that two teams kind of prioritize being here, but Wildcard, unfortunately, I mean, starting today, not the way they left yesterday off. It's going out in 16th place. I think they picked up 1 kill out of that. 2 kills, actually, as it shows up on screen, yeah? So unfortunate for them. Lucky for Comets to come out on top of that. You just see D-Treats put Victor down. Actually, Luke 12 in a bit of trouble. His vehicle's going to blow up. Not sure how the hell didn't he die to that? He was down to like 10 HP.
This is,
I mean,
one of those
get away
positions.
with an absolute miracle.
STK should be okay for here, because that position where Zenith is in right now overlooks it, and they're taking shots, but it's also out of circle. They can't just... Oh my god, Kurt. Are you serious? Kickstart just got schooled there as Kurt lands the domer. And, okay, STK 4 strong. Zenith, they're going to have to go for this res now and still figure out how they're going to get into the circle, because they've got hardships. They got STK. They've got everybody looking over in their direction, and to the south is not a whole lot better off, as Elusive, Team Clueless, and Oath are all fighting out in water treatment. So this might be an early exit here in Game 1 for Zenith, who really needs to get as many points as they can get.
Yeah, you can see Kickstart getting re-knocked to the blue, so Kurt not going to get that kill credit unless he calls down to the open here, but just nothing for them to do. And now actually Halo going to get a knock onto Team Clueless. That might pull one more of STK over this side to prioritize, but you can see now the last member of Elusive up there. Kickstart going to bleed out. And actually Oath down at water treatment. Mystery getting knocked to the blue as well. This is surely the end of Zenith here. Reload sending some shots up towards Innate. Innate will actually get taken out by Snakers. So and these are all the teams that kind of prioritized East here, up on that high ground, Poro, that now just being forced into an unfortunate position.
This is rough stuff. You can see Leda is still alive for Zenith, so maybe they got he might be able to do something, but he's just taking shots. If he's looking to see if he can maybe get a kill here before eventually going down to the blue, I got to imagine. Yeah. Oh, Luke. Well, fine. How does STK get away with holding this position right now?
I don't know.
By crashing that just gap. I mean, Houston hardships, they're literally 5 feet away. They could just run over there and just start throwing grenades, smoke it down and throw grenades. You got to figure. But nothing really, no push coming out from hardships. As now it looks like STK is interested in turning their attention over towards them. They realize that their backside is clear. And here come their grenades. Okay. Chubba's going to go down initially to Luke, and the flush from Civ. As STK and Throwables, name a more iconic duo. You sure as hell can't. And they're just going to keep pushing here. Hardships on the back foot. They are looking like they're running. Okay. Yeah, this is interesting. Well, I mean, it's not in circle.
No, and I guess circle is moving now, so STK need to find something to move to, because I don't actually think they've got anything playable on their side of the road, so they just have, I guess, bad options. This doesn't seem like the best of the bad options, but they're going for it anyway.
Okay, we're going to try to do the drive-by. We're going to die. Okay, I see you. We're gonna go down. We're just gonna give 2 away. We're gonna channel Fabled in the in the qualifying rounds and just throw. As Luke will find Malouk. That's a 2v2, but Civ is down. Civ gets taken out by, I think, from across the street, or was that one of the hardships boys? Exodus is taking shots at all of this the entire time here. Oh, okay, Luke. Luke is just disgusting. How he gets that, I have no idea. But 4 kills for him, 4 kills for SDK. I don't really know what he... Well, I know what he's going to do now.
I mean, I know what he's going to do now. I mean, they had no options, right? They couldn't just drive across the road as 4. So maybe send it 2 out in the Morado, a little bit of a bait, try and pick up those 3 kill points. They came out with a couple of points, but I said, it was probably just the best of a load of bad choices, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they're going to be kind of kicking themselves when they go back and do a little VOD review. If they would have taken maybe a little bit more time to scout the compound where Exodus is, they might have realized that they could have pulled that into a 4v2, perhaps, or even a 4v1 if they would have decided to crash Taylor J. So, you know, but I mean, I don't really know how much time they got to scout at all, because, you know, they had Pat and Ben taking shots across at the entire time, and then the circle started coming in, so I don't know if they even had a chance to scout across the street. Meanwhile, Fabled trying to come in from the north side here. Supernova and Greg Shot, the only 2 up, as they run into Livid. I think Soup might be the only player up for Livid here. Yeah, he is. And he is causing a huge problem for a 4-man squad.
Yeah, and actually, Soup kind of just playing spoiler up on the backside of the shack here. He's got a vehicle, but again, I don't think he's going to be expected to make moves at all. As you can see, Supernova and Greg come and try and clear him out and pick up this last kill point. Soup going to peek out, not going to get any damage initially. Supernova going to clean up with the AK. Clean as you like. Livid down in 8th place, picking up a placement point. But Fabled will be able to get a res off here. Maybe 2. I'm not sure if evasion is savable. Looks like Blue's already moving, so probably not. But nice clean up there.
That was well played by Fabled. I mean, it kind of sucks that it took them so long to finish out that last one. They couldn't get that res on evasion, but they get 3. They get 3 up. They're going to be fine. Meanwhile, Radiant still 4 strong. They've managed to find at least a tenuous home. Yep, Batty's going to get taken low here by Mime. You also got to remember Sonics. I keep seeing SQ. I'm saying Squires. I don't know why. Sonics. Sonics still 4 up, coming from the south side. Uh-oh, Reno. Can Reno pull off something here? Nah.
Finally. That took a while.
Yeah, Reno just out in the middle of the open here. Mime giving him the hard repeaks. 6 kills now for Sonics. They should be able to get this res on Shrimsy as well. Profi already found a spot inside this next circle. The rest of the squad here just chasing Blue as Radiance is kind of wrapping around on that southwestern side.
This is what I want to see. This is what I want to see.
Okay.
H-Win with an Orm in hand. 6x on it. Hasn't got the level 3 helmet though, so he's giving that up to somebody else, but
he's been a little bit of a highlight reel of his own here. H-Win has in these last few days. Now Sonics, they haven't managed to find a win just yet. It hasn't been for lack of trying here by this boy, as he is going to take the shot. Not going to find it just yet. Sonics will still maintain control over the south.
I think H-Win actually leading in knocks right now, so his damage output has been insane for Sonics. It's just it's unfortunate. We've not really seen him lighting a fire in terms of kill points, which is I guess you can put it down to their game. To be honest, they haven't been in positions to get kills. To be honest with you,
that is true. Well, they are in
this circle,
dangerous position here.
Yeah,
as they've got to figure out what to do about Radiance. They've got to figure out something here. You only have so many smokes. I'm not sure how much terrain that they've really got to work with. Exodus doesn't have to leave their compound, but it looks like they are going to. Taylor J and Venerated.
I like this.
I like this a lot here. Not just sitting and waiting, realizing that they have to collect some points here. They do have probably the best position out of everybody, but as you can see, only 3 kills so far. So they would like to pick up a few more here to throw into their pocket, while Sonics and Radiance trade shots back and forth. And meanwhile, Sweet Yaxley, all by himself, hanging out by the yucca tree. See if he can maybe come in at the last minute and steal something for the Comets.
Nearly getting spotted out by Mime there. Mime just a bit. There you go. Surely he's going to see him now.
There you go. What? Okay. Well, I mean, he's down to 26 HP. He does not want to go down there.
I mean, now Yaxley's dead. He's going to get double, triple flashed actually now. Shrimsy probably going to come over and peek this, but he's actually being saved right now by the Exodus third party. Mime now going to come and aggro peek this. Yaxley's surely going to fall here. There you go. H1 will find it with a headshot and 4. Now, that gives Sonics a bit of breathing room, Poro. Whether or not they can deal with Radiance, I'm not sure the way the terrain lies for them, but I feel like Radiance just having that slight elevation gives them an advantage.
I feel like you might be right here. It really, everything kind of hinges on what Exodus decides to do here, how they decide to push out of this compound, and who they decide to take the fight to first. As we see Sonics just trading back and forth, looking for an eye line here. Profi going to take a few shots. Okay, there you go. H-Win will find that down on a Los HD with the arm shot. And is that the sign here for Sonics to push in? Profi looks like he wants to, but Waldo going to force him back here.
Yeah, got to keep the leash on Profi in the late game. Don't want him overextending, but again, it's when you let him off the leash that matters.
Well, we've seen Profi get let off the leash, and he almost pulled off a miracle in the last game that we saw on Miramar. Ooh, Mime gonna find one. Yeah, Mime hits those all day. Venerated. What are you doing lying prone by that rock, my friend?
How'd they get down this far?
I
thought Exodus would have full line of sight on this, and actually Patcap's probably going to get caught off guard here as well. There you go. Nade going out his way. Mime's going to find that down. Great double peek there from Shrimsy and Mime. That'll put Exodus down to 1. Just Taylor J up. But now, what do they do about Radiance? Radiance are just kind of playing time on this right now. They have no reason to give anything away right now, other than the fact that Taylor J actually kind of McCoy's actually going to get an opening knock onto H-Win, and that's terrible news for Sonics.
Fortunately for H-Win, Profi is right there. They do have cover with the Murano.
He nearly got caught off there, though. That nade going to find it. Profi will fall without getting the res off. And the follow-up.
Waldo will get the kills. Good stuff coming out from Radiance. And is this Sonics once again working so hard, yet being denied the win at the end? Taylor J could still throw a huge wrench in this for Radiance.
They got to figure it out now. Radiance need to read the situation correctly. They've just killed 2 people. They know that Sonics are still going to have 2 members over there. They've seen Shrimsy and the Mime in the kill feed recently. They've got to be aware, because right now Taylor J is so close to McCoy and loss.
Well, McCoy's actually in a kind of a bad spot right here. He's got Taylor J right behind him, and he's got to hold Mime and Shrimsy off by himself here. Doing an admirable job as he plays that rock line. Doesn't look like anybody else has come to provide him any support yet, though. Where the rest of Radiance is still up on top of the plateau. I guess just working center circle. That's probably the smart play here. Mime going to come up from behind, though. Will he catch him? Yes, he will. McCoy going to go down, get flushed, and it's now a 2v3 with the added snake of Taylor J. This could go any which way right now. Radiance still with the best position, arguably. Waldo and Badiolol with the high ground. Los has a little bit of an anchor spot here. Looks like Taylor spotted him. Oh, Waldo. Okay. Okay, Batty and Waldo combined to get rid of Taylor J, and that turns things a little bit more interesting now. Mime and Shrimsy right on top of each other. I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I like putting both of your players right next to each other. I prefer them split out a little bit more along this ridge line and have to peek out. It looks like that's what they're going to do, too. Yeah, Mime going to go down a little bit farther to the east. Los still holding that anchor position while Waldo and Batty just take shots at anything that peeks up head up over that ridge line. Here we go, Los. Spot him. Oh, no, Shrimsy. Shrimsy managing to get away from that just in the nick of time. And now this is trouble for Sonics. They don't have any ridgeline left. They're kind of forced to be right on top of each other here. Can they get an opening down at least?
That's a molly.
Oh, that's good, Molly. Good area of control there. As mine.
Oh,
okay,
no,
Shrimsy
lost.
finds Los. 2v2. Waldo finds Shrimsy.
He's on fire!
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, he's on fire! He's on fire. He goes down
my
to
God,
1v1
can Mime do this?
Mime. Can Mime pull it off? Batty Lol versus Mime. Batty has no cover.
way.
He's just got the smokes. Mime's going to get
No
him before he
way!
gets behind the rock. Sonics pull off the impossible, and they get their first win of the PCS charity tournament.